Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start off with just a couple of thank yous. On behalf of the Business Processing Association of the Philippines, we'd like to thank our partners, NASCOM, for inviting us to be here today. We're very pleased that we announced together with NASCOM last year a formal initiative to do three things. One is to co-market together. Secondly is to share best practices. And thirdly is to develop industry standards. So very pleased about that, very pleased to be here. I think secondly, I'd like, on behalf of all the panelists and on behalf of you, the audience, I'd like to thank Sharad for ruthlessly enforcing the rule of no PowerPoint presentations. So we hope you appreciate that. Everyone followed the rules. I'd like to just share a little bit more about my background, which shaped the comments that I'm going to share with you today. Like several of my fellow panelists, I also have multiple personalities. Hat number one is as chairman of the Business Processing Association of the Philippines. We represent both the BPO and IT businesses in the Philippines. I'd like just to embarrass the other members of my delegation here. It's just if you want to go up to them later on and ask them about the Philippines. Oscar Sanyos there in the back is the CEO. Oscar, please stand. Is the CEO of BPAP. And Mitch Locsin beside him is the executive director of BPAP. As Sharad mentioned, I helped to start and was CEO of Telecare, which was one of the first customer care BPO companies in the Philippines. We started it in 2000. And I've grown to about 8,000 people today in both the Philippines and the U.S. And my third hat is as CEO of Livit, which is a BPO holding an investment company which I started last July with the backing of Ayala Corp, focused on investing in hopefully promising emerging BPO micro multinationals. I like that term. I hadn't heard that term before, but micro multinationals. And that's very appropriate for the theme today. Sharad has asked me to talk about two different kinds of partnerships. The first is the very rapidly growing country partnership between the Philippines and India, particularly from a delivery point of view. I think my colleagues talked a little bit more with regards to marketing type partnerships. From a delivery point of view, I think I'll talk a little bit later about the growing complementarity between India and the Philippines. The second type of partnership I'd like to talk about is corporate partnerships, different forms of corporate partnerships, and how the pros and cons of these as you contemplate how to take advantage of different country partnerships, whether it be Australia, Canada, the U.S., or the Philippines. And so at the risk of getting myself into trouble, I'm going to try and talk about these corporate partnerships with an analogy to male-female relationships. So let me give it a go. Bear with me. I define, there are four different types of partnerships. One is greenfield. That's like staying single. You just worry about yourself, do it yourself. I think there's outsourcing, which is part, I guess, to dating. Third type is joint ventures, which to me is similar to, I know you guys are waiting for me to make a mistake here and say something politically incorrect, but is akin to living together but still having separate bank accounts. And the last, of course, is the ultimate form of partnership, which is M&A, mergers and acquisitions, where, that's it, you're done, you're one, it's one bank account. I guess let me talk first about what I think is driving this rapidly accelerating partnership between countries like the Philippines and India. I think it boils down to two things. One is customer-driven. So I think increasingly customers are saying, I need you to have multiple locations. It's risk diversification, it's BCP, business continuity planning. I think during BPO 1.0, as MR was talking about, I think people were just experimenting. Not sure if I'm really going to do this. It's okay. You're just in one location. Just deliver. That's all I care about. I think today people have said we are doing this. It's going to be big scale. You need to be in multiple locations. So I think whether you're a large company or an emerging micro multinational, nowadays you don't actually have too much of a choice if you want to scale. I think the second driver is around resources and companies wanting to be able to scale and wanting to broaden the available skill sets that they can access. And I'm going to use a couple of the companies that Livet has invested in as very good examples of the complementarity between India and the Philippines. Both of these companies are headquartered in the U.S. Both of these companies have grown at a nice clip, have about 1,000 people each here in India. Both of them were very interested in moving into the Philippines and growing into the Philippines even before they met us. We, of course, have injected capital and are helping them to accelerate their rollout. But let me just share with you a little bit about, make this very tangible for you, what this complementarity means. One of the companies we acquired is a company called Integrion, which is one of the leading KPOs doing both KPO and LPO, doing things like market research or equity research for the U.S. market, and on the legal front, doing everything from word processing to analytics for the U.S. market and for the U.K. market. The complementarity, I think, really leverages between the different educational systems in in India and the Philippines. The Philippines, of course, a former U.S. colony. Of course, India, former British colony. So for work that requires heavy U.S. GAAP orientation, we're doing finance and accounting. Obviously, the Philippines has some advantage there. For work requiring IAS, then India has more of an advantage. And similarly with the legal type work that we're doing, again, U.S. patterned very much almost identically on the U.S. system, and India heavily influenced by the U.K. I think the other example of complementarity is the second company we invested in called Affinity Express, which is one of the leading pure play outsourced graphics and design companies, doing everything from business cards and stationery and corporate brochures for partners like Staples and OfficeMax, to doing all the classified ads for the Los Angeles Times or direct mail ads for large players in the United States. And I think what we've found is terrific depth in process and technical skills in India. And our game plan, in fact, is to bring over some of the very experienced managers with that kind of strength from India to our Philippine operations. In the Philippines, very strong creative talent, particularly when it comes to something that is very culturally compatible with the U.S.